alaikum, Jianu, Pakheragale, Nihao, Chunashume, Washmale, Ohio Gonzaimas, Guten Morgen, Ola, Bonjour, Privyet, Kaifahal, Hale Shoma Chatore, Alan Wasalan, Marhaba, and a very amazing good morning to everybody who's tuned into PT1 and watching World this morning. Alongside the very amazing, the very intelligent Maha Makhdoom and Shazad Khan. Hello Maha, how are you today?
Hello Shazad, assalamu alaikum everyone. I'm very well today, and also as always your energy is always really good, because I was saying yesterday as well, I'm reacclimatizing to hosting the show and being back, and I know I just feel nervous again.
No, but I didn't even feel like that yesterday.
Yeah?
You were like a pro, and you did it amazingly.
Hopefully
as well.
after 4 years you'd think that.
Because I think what we can share with all our viewers out there is that, for example, even if we take like 2 or 3 days off, we have to go somewhere. We're so indulged in that particular activity that once we're back on the couch, we get a bit nervous.
Absolutely.
And everybody does.
Absolutely. It's live television,
Yeah.
so, anything can happen. But we have a wonderful show lined up for you today. But I think, should we start with the top stories today?
Yeah, I think we can definitely start with that. But other than that, I wanted to talk a little bit about weather.
Okay, yes, please
because
do.
weather over here in Islamabad has been very amazing so far. And, lately people are actually trying or planning, in fact, to go up to the hills as well. But
Okay.
other than that, because for the previous week, the entire week, I think I've turned on my air conditioner too.
Okay.
But
Oh,
the last
really?
two nights, it was cold because it was raining and it was amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. No, the weather's been excellent since I've been back. I feel like I brought the good weather back with me.
All right, yeah,
yes.
because it rains in England so much,
exactly.
so it's
exactly.
perfectly all right.
Okay, so let's take a look at what's happening around the world and within Pakistan.
Let's do it.
Pakistani and Chinese investors are preparing to set up industry in special economic zones that will get significant incentives, including exemption from duties and taxes and concessional loans.
Wow, I think that's a good business opportunity for people out
Yeah.
here in Pakistan and China, I guess. I mean, exemption from taxes, that's good. Moving on, where the 29th Mangyong Day Prize International Marathon was held in Pyongyang, the capital of North Korea, with more than 1,400 runners from over 50 countries taking part. 1,400 runners, wow. Why can't I be one?
Good world's a training. Okay, so slippery conditions made the unique and demanding UK wife carrying championships even more challenging as participants traversed the course in Dorking, which is in the southeast of England. When I looked at this news, I was like, what am I reading?
I mean, I don't even see the purpose of this sport.
It's just so fun. It's a good activity. It keeps
Picking up their wife.
Yeah. You'd have to do a lot of training for
I
this.
mean,
It's
imagine
so
if the
fun.
prior night husband and wife actually,
Oh gosh.
are not talking to each other. So what do they do the next morning?
It's team building, isn't it?
All right, last but not the least, weightlifting star Nuh Dastagir Bhatt wins Pakistan's second bronze medal of the ongoing Commonwealth Games 2018 by lifting a total of 395 kg in the plus 105 kg event in Queensland, Australia. Congratulations, Bhatt Sahab.
Excellent.
You made us proud. Wow.
Wonderful. And that's actually a perfect way to lead into what we're going to be discussing now, isn't
Yeah,
it?
exactly, it is.
Yeah.
But okay, so I'll make it look like that.
Okay.
So ladies and gentlemen, in our life, we all, while we were growing up, our parents actually used to emphasize and put pressure upon their kids that, oh, you need to study. But I was lucky to be in a house where there were studies, and then there were extracurricular activities, and then there was a family time.
Yeah.
So that's why I think that I've got a balanced personality too.
And
what do you
actually-
think about it?
I think you actually do have a very balanced
Thank
personality.
you.
And I actually, it's about realizing that and seeing how people live their lives and how it's healthy and it actually makes our lives easier.
Exactly.
I feel like, in schools we're taught that about, kind of managing our time. However, it has become a norm within the education system to sideline extracurricular activities.
Yeah.
And it's about how that has an impact on your ability to learn as well.
Exactly, and then at the same time, ladies and gentlemen, since for the first half of the show today, we have picked up on education.
Yes.
And there are certain different things which are people trying to apply within our curriculums or within the system of education. Because to me, education is not simply just going to school, learning some different subjects, for example, sociology or physics or chemistry.
Yeah.
I think for me, education is that vast horizon of your own exposure where you have an understanding of each nitty-gritty of the life.
It's about critical learning and
Yeah.
a critical analysis and approach to life. But to discuss this and to say how important all these things are, where we're standing within our own education models that we're using within Pakistan, we have been joined by a wonderful guest to discuss it.
Exactly. So, ladies and gentlemen, the guy who's actually with us is he's a motivational speaker. He's a trainer coach. He's CEO of English in Moments. He's none other than Mr. Muhammad Habibullah. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Good morning. How are you?
I'm okay, man. Thank you so much for asking.
Walaikum
Maha,
assalam.
how are you?
Good, thank you.
First
Thank you
of
for
all,
being
thank
here.
you so much for having me over here. The things that you're talking about today, the education system and plus the, you can say, extracurricular activities, how we can combine them and
Yeah.
how we can, you can say, form up a positive product for our kids and all that. you know.
Exactly.
Now, I guess from class 3, especially in Pakistan, from class 3 till metric, all of the kids, they are, you can say, drived through, you can say, unsolved dilemma.
Okay.
And the dilemma is, so getting into the race of getting numbers and getting into the race of being...
Okay, slowly.
Hi.
So, take a deep breath. We always do like those guests, whom we certainly do not have to ask questions, but they're on such a bad wagon that, they keep on telling. So, you're going to give away everything, but we want to go methodologically.
See, the method that I'm talking
Yeah.
about, like I was saying, from class 3,
Yeah.
kids are supposed to control their vision.
Okay.
So there's a psychological test that should be taken by showing them certain videos, certain pictures,
Okay.
by showing them certain characters. I mean, just like Superman or lawyer or doctor,
Okay,
engineer.
Habib
Okay.
sir, we're going to come down to this point, but first of all, we want to talk about the education system which still prevails, and then the new education system which you want to apply to different schoolings
Yeah.
or schools as well. So, what's different in the education system which still here, and why do you think that there was a need for you to come up or probably advise another education system which you think is better for kids?
I guess this new education
First,
system.
the old one.
Yeah.
Okay,
Old
the,
one.
the old one, the old education system, it's you can say it's paralyzed, and because of not having the content of personal growth.
Okay.
Since from the childhood, a child is not taught the personal growth, and in personal growth, you can say like they sacrifice their health,
Yeah.
they sacrifice their going out with friends, they sacrifice going for the sports.
Yeah.
A lot of kids. I mean, even when I was a kid, I wanted to take part in different like cricket games and all that. But because of what parents would say, what my friends would say, and I don't have time for this. I have to get my 90 grades and all that. So to get all this, we sacrificed all that.
Okay.
So
Indeed.
the previous education system is making kids to sacrifice their things which are going to actually help them in their real life.
Absolutely. Okay.
Now, this education system that I'm talking about, let's say from class 3, we take that psychological test that I was talking about. We are just going to teach the kids, let's say a child say, according to that test, that I want to be a lawyer. So we're just going to teach them 3 basic subjects and 1 book from the law.
Okay.
So from grade 3 till grade 10, he would only study law, and he would wear the uniform of the lawyer,
Okay.
not a proper uniform from the school.
Okay, so now so let's break this down in itself. So but why would you want to push a child from the age of grade 3, from grade 3 into a specific profession? Like, because over the course you're talking about personal growth and evolution, then why would you not teach them more subjects and let them explore maybe what they're good at?
So that they
What-
can be open to specialization whenever, they fulfill or they hit the age where they're like, okay, I was a kid earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, for example, we always wanted to get married to a lady when we were young. For example, 3 years or 5 years or 6 years of age. But, certainly you change your mind. So why do we even want to stick to one? Okay, we'll definitely get that answer. But ladies and
Okay.
gentlemen, at this very moment, we need to head out for a short break. Don't go anywhere because the conversation just got interesting. Good morning.
Welcome back, everyone. And before the break, we're talking about the importance of looking at the education system within Pakistan and how we're actually helping our kids, grow personally and, physically and professionally, etc. So the question was, why push a child into one area? Because over the course of time, people change their mind, they've developed new talents, etc.
You see, when I grew up, when I did my university, I realized that I was not made for this particular course.
Okay.
So why?
Which course did you do though?
I went for computer sciences,
Okay.
and at the end of the day, I realized, oh my God, I'm not a coder.
Okay.
Yeah, all right.
Fair enough.
Okay, so, and then I changed.
Okay.
I went on to become a philanthropist and become a motivational speaker, and I got some courses. Now, why at that age I had to shift on, while at that age I should be responsible to provide something to my family,
Okay.
to live the life that I am to live
Okay.
at that age. But on that age, I'm certainly to change my whole, you can say, curriculum and try something totally new that I am actually passionate about.
Right.
So that child, after that psychological test, what he is passionate about, he would be chosen. Now, let's say you're saying that he would not be studying other subjects. I agree with your point. And to some extent, that point is valid. Okay. But what's going to happen in future? In future, when that child grows up, okay, when he goes to matric and he O levels or A levels, he doesn't have to decide anymore, and nor his uncles or aunties or neighbors or friends, they have to decide, or go for engineering, go for law, or maybe they see the ranking on the Googles, or maybe they see their neighbors. No, because the child has decided by himself. So something that he had decided by himself, it would not lead him to destruction.
But okay, I see what you're trying to say, but the thing is, but the other flip side to that, Shazan, I'm going to steal your point, I'm
Yeah,
so
it's all
sorry,
right, it's all
is the fact that when you're limiting their education exposure, then what if they don't get into that law school? Or, are we not still pushing that same culture of be a doctor, lawyer, engineer? Like, will parents accept their kids doing something different?
Now there are multiple fields. I'm not talking about only law. Okay, I just gave an example of being a lawyer.
Okay, sorry, yeah.
You can become somebody else.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever a child wants to be. Maybe a child wants to be best sportsman. Okay, so you give him 3 basic subjects. Okay, and then you send him to sports. You give him studies. You give him books about sports. Okay, because I guess. Okay, in university you study about 44 subjects, and out of your 44 subjects, only 6 or 7 subjects are of your field subject. Okay, but 33 or 34 subjects are for your exposure, or for, you can say, sometimes you say, oh yeah, ye to burden hai, theek hai. But the thing is, you have to take on, and I will just give an example of that. When this child has the personal growth, now let's just talk about personal growth. Why am I suggesting that kids should choose this one thing? Through this one thing, he would totally invent his passion. He would say that, let's say, a child goes to O level, A levels, and then he goes to LLB. Okay. Now, when he goes to LLB, this is his first time at the age of maybe 18 or 20, when he is studying the first book related to law.
Okay.
But what if he started studying that book at the age of 7 or 8?
Okay, yeah, so exactly, so it's like a different take on vocational training. that
I
we would
think,
do.
but then at the same
guess.
time, I think that the better model would be, for example, when we are in our O levels, A levels, or matriculation, and this is where it actually comes down that we have to decide which line we have to choose. So what happens is that what we can probably do is, but rather than just giving them a book or probably 3 basic subjects in the 3rd grade or the 4th grade, what we can do is that we can give them options within, for example, when they're opting for their O levels, that, okay, you've got computer sciences, you've got law, you've got business, you've got marketing, you can do anything, and that can be an extra subject which he can study initially, and then if he changes his mind, he still have his options.
You're right on that. I agree with you 110%. Okay. But at that point, you're supposed to ask him 3 questions.
Okay.
And these 3 questions are very important.
Okay.
Actually, these 3 questions, they changed my life.
Okay.
And since now there are more than 300 people, they're affiliated with my organization, and it's changing their lives.
Okay.
And you won't believe me, there's a policy in my company. I told them, take as many as days you can off. Okay. Even if you come for 10 days, but I want you 100% for my company. Now,
Yeah.
these three questions, what are these questions?
Okay, go ahead.
The first questions, what kind of experiences do you want to have in your life? I mean, a guy does O levels after you ask him this question. Now, experiences could be you want to go to world tour, you want to be a lawyer, you want to be a doctor, you want to be an engineer, you want to be, you want to go stay with your parents, you want to buy a penthouse, you want to drive Ferrari.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's no monopoly. You can follow a leader, okay? You can copy the experiences that you want to have in your life. Now, the second question, to gain all these experiences, how do you want the growth? Okay, like let's say you want to go to world tour, you have to have wealth, you have to go to certain flights, and then you want to become a lawyer, you have to go to certain university. Okay, you want to be a best mentor, you have to do this. Okay, to get all these experiences, how do you want the growth?
Yeah.
Now the third question, and which is very important, okay, which actually really matters, which makes you who you are, after gaining all these experiences, after getting all the growth, now how do you want to contribute to this community? How do you want to serve this society? How do you want, what do you want to leave for your next generation?
Okay.
Let's say your kids are going to walk into these streets. What are you leaving for them?
I don't want to leave
So
anything.
that, you know, ultimately, like right now, you're sitting over here, you're living something for the next generation. You're talking something.
I
Maybe
mean,
after
for all
10
of that
years,
money which will be
let
left
me-
in my account when I'm dead is the amount of extra work which I
You
did.
know, my dad says that, I don't
not-
leave
no, no,
anything.
no, 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 no. It's not about your money. It's not about something materialistic. It's about something what you serve. Even a guy who polishes shoes on the road, he's directly or indirectly serving the community.
Absolutely.
Even the barber is serving the community. Okay?
Absolutely.
So every single person
That's
is
what we are doing.
Yeah, so no,
Exactly.
I absolutely get your point. So it's about you kind of trying to figure it out and kind of visualize the steps that you need to take, and it's also having a more informed decision.
So how does this model work now?
Okay, yes, how do,
how does this model work now? You see, somewhere, it has to be started. I started it, you can say, in 2017. At the beginning, it was really a hurdle. So I called upon the parents, and I took suggestions from the parents. What do you think if we give this kind of education to your kids? Do you agree on that? Okay. So obviously, parents, they're really conscious about their kids' future. Okay. So out of, you can say 60 parents, they were about, you can say 45 or 50 parents, they said yes. This is much better. This is way better. So I guess what society is demanding from you,
yeah.
what parents are demanding from you, go ahead for that.
Okay, I see. No, I agree with that to a certain degree, but thank you so much for being here to discuss this important
Thank you,
topic and
thank you.
giving us a more insight, a bigger insight into what's happening in the education
And what are
world.
what are we calling this newer model of education? Do we have a name for this?
There's no specific name for
Okay.
this. It's actually through my organization, English in Moments, like I
Yeah.
said, we are doing through with that, but it's called Young Pakistan Network.
Young
Young
Pakistan.
Pakistan.
Excellent. And we will share any links if anyone wants to get any more information on what we spoke about. Thank you so much for being here today. Now we're going to go for a short break, and we're going to continue the conversation about being the best that you can be.
Because we need to make a balance. So earlier we were talking about education, now it's about sports. And this is why I'm dressed up like that.
Yeah.
Okay?
ठीक है?
Yeah.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for everybody who just got tuned into PT What You Watching What this morning alongside Mohammed Doom and Shazad Khan. And earlier today, ladies and gentlemen, we were trying to advise about some new educational systems,
Well, no,
but you have to be vigilant about them.
Yeah, exactly. We weren't advising. We're just exploring what's out there, and it's really interesting to see what people are working on, and if it suits you, if it doesn't suit you. But like Shazad said, you have to do your research, be vigilant, and be careful.
And we certainly believe in kids having a balanced personality, and the only way to approach to that is by having some particular or some precise amount of education and then some precise amount of sports too as well within your own life.
Yeah.
And on 10th of April, ladies and gentlemen, well, first of all, my father was born. Happy birthday, Abu.
Oh, happy birthday,
Sorry, I
Uncle.
forgot, but we did it last night.
Okay.
But even other than that, it's the Golfers' Day, ladies and gentlemen. And the Golfers' Day is to celebrate, even the I still don't want to use the word, even the dumbest guy on the field, who actually shanks the ball into the jungle. I mean, everybody, all those men who play golf, all those women, all those people who look after, all those people who can be your caddies or who drives your caddy, we celebrating them today.
Exactly. So within Pakistan, there are about 5,000 registered members. This was from the research from 2016, and there's about 30 golf courses also within Pakistan. I don't know if the numbers change. We have an expert in the studio who will tell us. But also in 2016, there were 18 Sindh golfers that featured in the Pakistan ladies amateur golf championship as well. So it is something that's happening. There is investment a little bit going into it, but we're going to explore what's actually happening on the ground level and in reality.
So let's do that. And we have been joined with somebody who was here, I think, probably 2 years ago, and now he's back with some amazing good news.
Exactly. So this person that we've been joined by, he's been a professional golfer for 6 years. He's currently playing the China Golf Tour and the Pakistan Circuit. The biggest event he played, which we covered last time, was the Australian Open, which he appeared at in Sydney. He's the former Pakistan champion, and also his best ranking is #1 amateur ranking, and his current one is #6. We have been joined by
Hamza Amin. Hello, how are you? Assalamu alaikum.
What's up, guys?
Assalamu alaikum.
Thanks for having me on the show again.
Thank you for being here. But before we get our conversation started with you, we're going to share a little clip about you so our viewers have a bit of knowledge about you.
Let's do it.
Wow, so he's got the looks and he's got the moves, ladies and gentlemen. Hamza Amin once again. So Hamza, we certainly ask this question every time we are observing the day, but as a golfer, how is it for you to celebrate and observe the Golfers' Day yourself?
Well, you know what? Every day for me is Golfer's Day because I work 9 to 5 on my game, so it's nothing different for me. After the show, I'm going to head to the course and hit a couple of balls. So
Okay.
just another regular day for me.
Okay, well, it's about, for us, for other people who may be not so aware of golf to appreciate it. So let's pick up from where we left off last time. You were telling us about your appearance in the Australian Open, but tell us recently, since then, how's your journey been since we last saw you? Because you went away for a little while.
Yeah, I did. The journey has been interesting. It's a lot of ups and a lot of downs. I recently qualified for the China Tour.
Wow.
So I'll be playing in China this year, which is, going to be fun.
Congratulations.
Thanks. It's going to start in May, so looking forward to that. I think I had an injury in that time away from you guys, so I had a stress fracture in my back, so took some time off, and the recovery's been good, but the game is back. Looking forward to it.
Well, amazing that is. But I'm sorry, we do have a certain lineup for questions, but
We'd have to stick to
I'm
it.
sorry that I'm drifting away from that.
You always do.
And that is that, me, when I was a kid and I could actually see my father into golf course, I thought, man, what a boring game it is. You just walk, hit, and that's it, and then come back home. So you started at a very young age. You've got 14, if I'm correct, amateur wins too as well, and you're the #1 amateur too. So the moment you started playing golf in your life, how did you do that? Who inspired you? Who took you to the court? And was it like one of those kids who was actually being dragged to the court as well? Because now I make my daughter sit on a horse and she's all crying and I'm like, whatever, you're sitting on that.
Yeah, that was me. I mean, my dad is obviously the champ, So golf has always been part of our family. But it was my mom that dragged me to the golf course.
Why?
And I used to hate playing. But one day, I hit this fantastic shot, and then I never looked back. I got hooked,
Okay.
you know. And I remember as a little 13-year-old, the Pakistan Golf Federation sent this letter to our course that they're having this trials for the under 13 team to go to Malaysia.
Right.
So I was like, we all signed up, you know,
Yeah.
and I won that trial.
Wow.
And went to Malaysia to play. I played really bad, okay, but I was a little kid. But that's what kind of got the interest going, and you know.
Excellent. So it kind of links into our early conversation that maybe starting them at a young age maybe does give
Yeah,
clarity
that's
in what
helped,
you're
yeah.
doing. Okay, so you had the inspiration, you had the support from your family. So then, and you have gone into the international circuit and you're being recognized. So what is I'm sticking to the questions.
It's all right.
So what is your ultimate goal in the end? Like, as in, what do you want to achieve?
Well, I
'Cause
mean,
you've just started, really. Have
well,
you?
I mean, I've been pro for a couple of years now, but the goal is always to play full time on the European Tour or PGA Tour.
Okay.
And my goal personally is to play the Olympics in 2020.
Okay.
Now that golf is part of them,
Excellent.
you know. So I think a golfer peaks at the age of 35. So there's
I
still
was going to ask
plenty
the
of time.
lifespan. Okay.
Yeah, there's still plenty of time. You know,
Okay.
just got to keep at it and keep working hard.
Excellent.
Okay, but even other than that, you know, to be a golfer over here in Pakistan is not that easy, honestly. And you certainly need, because you know, if you've gone pro and you want to be in a PGA Tour too as well, you need some amazing coaches around you as well. Probably you have to hire them and you have to do it all by your own self. So yeah, who's your coach? Tell us about him a little.
Yeah, that's a good question. Unfortunately, in Pakistan, you have to rely on your talent and your natural ability because there's not much coaching available. I'm lucky enough to have my coach Chris work with me. The last 2 years we've been, you know, working on the game. Before it was Patrick. I think last time I was on the show I was working with Pat.
Okay.
But yeah, he was in Pakistan actually last year.
Okay.
He came for a 10-day visit, you know. He loved it. It was a total shock for him.
Okay.
But yeah, he's a cool guy and he's doing a great job.
Excellent. And also, so, you know, as Shahzad said, like you guys, within Pakistan, the options and it's not as much as it should be. But how does that affect you when you're actually trying to, improve your game and be at the best top level?
Well, you know, you're always striving to be better. And I guess without the proper coaching, there's only a certain level you can reach because you're making mistakes that nobody's pointing out and you just keep making them and keep making them and keep making them. You know, it's unfortunate, but I think you just stagnate unless you have the proper tools and the proper coaching to get you to the next level.
So, wait, all I can observe from far away whenever somebody's, playing golf is that one kid, one guy probably giving you all of your, I don't know what we call those clubs probably, or, I don't know what a putt is, all of these different things.
Very
So
uneducated.
what's up? Yeah, I'm being honest. So
Yeah, that's fine.
And this is why we're even sharing with people. So
Yeah,
for all
I
those
don't know.
younger kids who are out there who want to play golf, what are these necessary tools you're talking about? Because it's just probably a club and
Yeah.
then you just whip
Because
it.
that's the thing. People aren't. It's not it's not like cricket, but people. Everyone
where it's
talks
just a
about
bat and a
it.
ball.
Yeah.
I mean, here you have 14 clubs in the bag.
Okay.
So you have for long shots, for medium range shots, for the short shots, for the putting on the green. So you need a full set, and yeah, it's expensive. So you need to keep that in mind before you start.
Okay.
But it's not like cricket where, like you said,
So
you
can
take
we
one
start
bag.
with like 3 clubs only or probably
it's a
4
bit
clubs?
difficult.
Really,
It's
is
a
it?
bit difficult,
And then
yeah.
there's a number written at the right, bottom
Yeah,
of
at the
club.
bottom, like 9, 8,
Yeah,
7,
yeah, yeah,
6. So the longer you want to hit it, the lower club you have to take.
Okay,
That's
so
how it
at least we got
Yes,
something.
I'm learning something.
Yeah, so
here.
next time.
You look like a big guy. You can probably hit it pretty far.
Yeah, I've tried probably 100 and 200 yards. That's it.
No, you look like more like a 300-yard guy.
Really? Okay, we can give it a
We
try.
should go to the course next time.
I
and
think
get
I
a
can
sub.
probably shout till 300 yards. That's what I can do. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so now obviously there's a lot involved in it. There's a lot of investment that has to go around, and you've stepped out of the country as well regarding the sponsorship. What kind of support do you feel like you've received from Pakistan? Do you think it's been supportive of your decision to represent them and play the sport?
Well, sponsorship is one of the most difficult things to come across in any sport in any country. But there's one sports agency in Pakistan that really has a vision. They're keeping the 2020 Olympics in mind as well. So they've, Ashraf Bhai is the CEO. He's supported me a lot. He's done a lot for me, and he sees how important the training camps are and how international exposure, but not just for me, for the other athletes on our squad is. So I hope in the coming years that we'll see a lot more Pakistanis on the international circuit, regardless of the sport.
Okay, excellent.
Okay, but then at the same time over here in Pakistan, what happens is that, you know, because we have lack of facilitation, and so what happens is that for all those people who are playing and who went pro, you know, majority of the times they do have an injury, right?
Yeah.
So even you were talking about an injury
Yeah.
that you had a stress back fracture, and then for those treatments you have to go abroad too. So how are we helping the kids over here within Pakistan with all these sort of problems? Are we even doing that? Are we focusing on that?
I wish I had an answer to that question. You know, there's, you know, with the kind of back trouble that I have, it's even hard for me to find somebody who can help me over here. You know, during tournaments, you know, you have a problem and there's no like physio or
Sports physician.
or sports
Yeah.
physio clinic or something that, you know, I can trust and go to. So I mean, I'm lucky enough to travel abroad every now and then, so I get my treatment there, but it's hard.
Okay. Okay. So, and on that note, I feel like we should break up the conversation and we should share a little clip that to keep our viewers in line with what we're discussing.
Yeah, so do you want to play that cute clip or do you want to highlight the new talent of Pakistan?
I feel like we should launch into the. What do you think?
Oh, well,
I can't make decisions these days.
Well, I think what we can do is that probably what we need to do is we need to highlight more and more talent. We
Okay.
can go about the trending videos towards the end.
Absolutely. Let's just
So,
sign off with
okay,
that.
so let's do that, Mr. Producer. If you've heard us, yeah, go ahead. Play the video.
Every night I hope and pray a dream lover will come my way, a girl to hold in my arms and feel the magic of her charms, because I want a girl to call my own. I want a dream lover so I don't have to dream alone. Dream lover, where are you? And love is so true. And the hand that I can hold, but baby near as I grow old, because I want a girl to call my own. I want a dream lover so I don't have to dream alone. Someday, I don't know how, I hope she'll hear my plea. Some way, I don't know how, she'll bring her love to me. Dream lover until then.
So this is the beauty of working on live television as well. But no, we wanted to keep you guys in the loop of what we're talking about. Break it up.
surprise.
Yeah, it was really cute as well, and babies are the best.
I want to do it too.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, now let's get back to the conversation. Shazad, do you have the first conversation?
Yeah, all right. So now what I wanted to ask was that, you know, please tell us about all of those golf events or tournaments which takes place over here in Pakistan. And then, you know, for whoever wins, do they even have a prize money or something which they can probably do good for themselves?
Yeah, professional sports is all about prize money. You know, you do it as a profession. The Pakistan Golf Tour has grown a lot over the years. We have about 25 events, you know, throughout the calendar year. At the moment, I think we've just come off a stretch of 7 in a row.
Yeah.
So I've been on the road for a while, and the prize money has grown as well. And the interest by the juniors, junior professionals and stuff, the interest keeps growing. The more money that gets pumped in, the more people are motivated to practice and play, obviously. But if you win the biggest match in Pakistan, I think it's about 8 lakhs or something for the week.
Wow.
Okay, that's not bad.
That's
Not
cool.
bad. It's the second highest paying sport in Pakistan after cricket.
You know,
That's
I still
awesome.
want to come and see you in LA someday. You know, you're living over there, you're chilling and all of that, those things. That'll be cool too.
Yeah.
I wish I was living in LA.
Inshallah, we will.
We will.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you're talking about the it's growing and the prize money is increasing. That's also then in line with the interest in the sport within the country. But we still see a lack of coverage, or kind of, or is that an incorrect?
Yeah, you know, I think there's one event that's covered on live by PTV.
Yep.
Yeah, it is PTV Sports.
I think in August, the Sindh Open is always broadcast live. There may be, if you know, 3 or 4 or 5 events can be broadcast, I think that would be good for the game, for the growth of the game, for the, you know, people to see that Pakistanis can actually play golf.
Yeah.
But
It's
online,
hard finding or looking for commentators, for golf. This
Yeah,
is where
that's-
we get stuck up.
that's not easy.
Okay.
That's not easy. But yeah, online content is very important. Now with Facebook and stuff like that, it's easy to put stuff out there, but nobody seems to be doing it.
Okay. And so now, in the next, like you've already mentioned that you're going to be playing in the China Open as well. So what else can we expect? Like if for any of your fans that are watching as well, where can they see you?
Expect the unexpected. Anything can
Okay.
happen this year. I'm playing good.
Okay.
I'm confident about the game.
Excellent.
So time will tell.
Okay,
Inshallah.
wonderful.
And we wish you best of luck too as well. Thank you very much, Hamza, for being with us. It was lovely talking to you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
And so now, before we wrap up, we actually have some more things to highlight, and it's about the other talent and sports that people are taking interest in within Pakistan.
And it's people like Hamza who are actually going to go learn, play, win championships, come back, open up an academy, and tell people that this is how professionally golf is being played, or any other sports. And that's the reason why they are here too as well, to mentor, to guide, and to be the leader within the sport itself.
Yeah.
But now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to actually put a little bit of eye on all of those kids whom we need to look forward for, and we are definitely doing that. Go ahead, share that video full of talent.
So these were some of the few talents that we have, but there's such amazing upcoming sportsmen, and we really need to keep an eye and keep promoting and investing in it as well.
So Kulsum, ladies and gentlemen, she's a South Asian karate champion, which we need to look forward to. And then,
And
You've
then
got Hassan.
SNARs.
yeah, who's actually a squash champion. He's in the making. But we wish you best of luck, and to all of those kids who are actually making an effort. And parents, please make sure that a kid's life is not just about reading books and be a nerd, because nobody likes nerds.
Oh no, and it's also about having a balanced life and outtake as well. So with that, if you want any information about anything we have spoken about, and if you want to find out more about either of our guests, you can also find out their social media account, which we will be sharing online on our Facebook fan page,
Which is with the name of World This
our
Morning.
Twitter page,
World This Morning without the G.
our Daily Mission YouTube
World This
page,
Morning, World This Morning.
and the repeat is
5
at.
past 11 p.m.
Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you bright and early
Till
tomorrow
the next
morning.
time, 1, 2, 3, good morning.
ये वोट को इज्जत दो जो है, ये अब नारा अवाम की तरफ से उठता है, उनकी तरफ से आ रहा है, और वो